everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets looking pretty decent on expiry day. We have 1/3% of gains for the Nifty and the Sensex. Broader markets managing to do even better, and that has really been the case for the last couple of sessions. So that's really encouraging news. But of course, this show is all about individual movers and shakers. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to get you a gist of what exactly is it that's buzzing in the market. So let's kickstart the show then by introducing our guests. We have with us Soumya Sharma and Kunal Bothra, ET Now's research and technical analyst respectively. And today we are joined by Kunal Rambhia of The Streets to talk about the technicals of each individual stock. So thanks to all of you for joining in. And let's kickstart by talking about Jubilant Food. Citi has maintained a buy on the stock with a target at 1430 rupees per share, as they believe that the company is utilizing its pricing lever after almost 2 to 3 years. Yes, the Domino's maker has for the last 2-3 years kept prices more or less even Stevens, but now it's starting to indulge in some price hikes, and accordingly Citi is tweaking their EPS estimates by 1 to 3% after factoring in moderation. Stock price higher by more than 1%. Kunal, you have a buy on M&M. Why is that?
I think many of the auto stocks are trying to make a good comeback. M&M on the weekly charts, I think, is showing a triple bottom kind of a formation, and the momentum is now coming back into the stock price. I think open interest wise as well, volume wise on the cash segment. I think on all the criteria, I think M&M is trying to tick many of these boxes, and I think that's a very positive sign and encouraging sign. The stock is above its 50-day moving average. That's also an added positive to the stock price trend. So keeping these short-term parameters into perspective, I think M&M could be a good buy. 688 could be the near-term target for the stock price, and stop us at 635.
Is a buy on M&M, target at 688 rupees. Okay, well, here is an exclusive. Beverage maker Coca Cola seems to have entered into exclusive talks to pick up a significant stake in our very own Cafe Coffee Day. Ratna Bhushan from the Economic Times joins in with more details. Ratna.
Coke wants to pick up around 50% stake in Cafe Coffee Day. Now the negotiations are at early stages. Atlanta is driving this. While last year Coca-Cola had bought out Costa Coffee. In India, Costa Coffee is very small. They have less than 50 stores. And Cafe Coffee Day has 1,725 stores. So that's why Coke wants to really scale up. And the Costa deal would not pan out well for it in India. And because soft drink sales are slowing down, they are looking at the coffee cafe business in a significant way.
Thanks, Ratna, for that. Moving on, Kunal Rambhia, Axis Bank, we've seen a nice upward momentum come by in this stock. It's one of those few stocks that's managing to hold out, at its multi-year highs. Your view on Axis Bank?
The stock entered into new trajectory, and then after dipping and taking the support at 100 days exponential moving average, the stock has recovered very sharply. So I would rate this counter as buy on decline. The trend really continues well. Keep the stop loss of 780, and you expect the counter to, on a shorter term basis, to reach 830 to 845.
All right, there you have it. That is the word on Axis Bank. Sugar stocks today are all abuzz in trade. My colleague Ashna Mishra, in fact, picks up from her sources that the Modi government is planning a sweetener for sugar companies, which has, of course, been hurt because of the glut in the industry. Ashna, what are your sources telling you?
Seems like the sugar industry is already set for some good news. We are picking up from our sources that the Food Ministry will, in the first week of July, hold discussions and will decide on the new export policy for the upcoming season, which will begin in October. And yes, while the internal discussions will begin in the first week of July itself, they will also take this forward to the PMO and will have discussions at the PMO level post-budget. And yes, this is a big move that will be coming in for the industry. Also, apart from this, the government is also likely to tell mills to create and maintain a buffer stock of 5 million ton. Remember, till June end, they already have asked the mills to create a buffer stock of 3 million ton, but now they will tell them to create a fresh buffer stock of 5 million ton. The cabinet note for the same has already been floated, and whenever the note is taken in the cabinet meeting from the next month, from the first of the next month, this will come into practice. So yes, it indeed is a very good news for the whole of sugar industry as well as for the farmers, because this will improve the cash flows of mills and it will also ensure that they make payments and clear the cane arrears.
Thanks, Ashna, for that. And sugar stocks certainly are a buzz in trade. Moving on, Kunal Bothra, Siemens, why is this one on your radar?
So a bullish flag pattern on the daily charts, the stock nearing a breakout, and the way the stock has formed this bullish flag pattern is very encouraging, because stock rallied from almost 1100, 1150 levels to 1300 approximately, went through a 1 month consolidation, and now it's nearing a breakout of sorts. So I think Siemens could be a very good buy, an attractive buy even at current levels. 1300 to 1350 could be a target range from a short to medium term perspective, and stop loss could be kept at 1245.
1.6% higher for Siemens in trade today. And Samya, the Agarwals and Goenkas, after selling off their stake in FMCG, now they are eyeing selling off their stake in the cement business.
Yes, indeed, that's what we're picking from the Economic Times reports, that Mami is looking to sell some stake in the cement business, and they are in exploratory talks with Ultratech, KKR, private equity fund KKR, Temasek, to sell their stake in this cement business, and the likely valuations are that they're seeing is around 5,000 to 5,500 crore rupees, and in fact the group is trying to reduce their debt and focus on the core consumer business. That's what the Mami is and the promoter are looking at. In fact, the stocks are losing close to about 2.6%.
Promoter group debt reduction promoter level debt reduction is what they are targeting, and in light of that, these stake sales. Don't go by the stock movement, it's down 2.6%, but not in reaction to this news. Kunal Rambia, Prestige Estates, look at the way that stock is rallying. Massive action seen on the F&O side as well. What's your observation?
So we had seen the same stock when it was trading at in the range of 240 to 245. We discussed about this on the show itself. The stock is decently poised for a new rally on the higher side. The higher top, higher bottom formations are definitely intact. So keeping the stop loss of 270, this stock can be definitely bought at the present level itself. Expect the counter to reach 350 to 360 mark very shortly.
Okay, 350, you can buy it at this level of 279 for some decent returns, according to Kunal. Canfin Homes and in fact most of these NBFCs, especially the HFCs, seem to be buzzing this after the NHB, or the National Housing Board, has revised or rather lowered the refinance rates in order to ensure transmission of the same to the housing finance companies. They've lowered the refinance rate, and remember, this is of course coming in after the RBI for the third time cut the repo rate by 25 basis points. So now the housing finance sector regulator has said that in order to transmit the policy rate cuts announced by the RBI on 6th of June, it has reduced its refinancing rates. This is something that the NHB said in a tweet, in fact it also noted that refinance rates were lower by about 20 basis points in the second fortnight of June over the previous fortnights. Remember that NHB is basically the regulator that offers refinance assistance to housing finance companies in respect of their loans, which in turn are given to individuals for housing. So Canfin Homes and all of these names would stand to benefit. Kunal Bothra, BHEL, this one continues to remain a buy for you.
Yes, Movita, I've been highlighting the stock since last 1 week. How the stock has gone through subtle momentum on the upside, bouncing off from its key moving averages on the short-term charts. And now I think the stock is gaining some steady momentum. It's trying to come back to breaking its swing highs. And many of the PSU stocks, I think collectively in the last 1 week, there's been a change of texture of how the PSU stocks have performed, both on the mid cap as well as on the large cap front. And I think BHEL could be another contender for rise from current levels. 80 is where I'm revising the targets for BHEL. Would suggest a buy at current levels, and stop loss could be kept at 72.
Okay, clear-cut buy on BHEL. Kunal Rambia, Infibeam is one stock that we have been seeing a lot of volatility in, but mostly it's on its way lower. Anything that you would like to recommend to our viewers?
If you look at the entire performance of that counter since last 3 months, the stock has been laggard. The consolidation is going on, but there is no direction emerging as such. So for present time, prefer to avoid this counter. Keep a check on it for short-term trading above 50 or say below 40 in a particular directional to move.
Okay, there you have it. That is Infibeam. Right now, there's no clear-cut direction, so Kunal is saying just avoid it at this point in time. Meantime, Samya, WealthSpan India is buzzing in trade. What's the reason?
Well, yes, the company has signed a joint venture with Sense Organics Import and Trading Company in Germany, and they have acquired 51% stake in Pure Sense Organics Myanmar. In fact, they'll be investing close to about US dollar 140,000 rupees US dollars in in order to, provide some resources and funding this JV.
Okay, that is Wellspun India, 1.8% higher. Take a look at Colgate. That one too is managing to stay higher in trade. Deutsche Bank has maintained a buy here on Colgate with the target at 1,400 rupees. Remember that we have had brokerages talk about the sort of competitive intensity and the pricing aggression that Colgate is now adopting, and that in turn would of course threaten other oral care manufacturers like Dabur, etc. as well. But Deutsche Bank believes that yes, there is going to be some hit on the margins because of the higher promotional cost. However, the cost efficiencies will support Colgate's stock price. It was gaining by 1% in the earlier part of trade, but now it's more or less tempered off from the day's high, now at 1134 rupees. Kunal Ram here, Dr. Lal Path Labs has been seeing a lot of, a decline for some time. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was recently at a 52-week low. What's your view here?
So, if I look at the entire formation right from the IPO day till now, the stock made a high of around 1200 rupees, and from there it came down to 750. It's been almost 1.5 years to reach the same level again. It made the same high, which is near to 1200 levels. I would rate this counter as, before entering into a new trajectory, this may decline a bit. So I would rate this counter as a buy on decline kind of levels. Think of buying near to 1030 mark. No need to keep the stop loss till the time the trend is intact. Expect the counter to reach 1350 to 1400 by year end.
1.9% gone for Dr. Lal. Soumya, Aster DM, big funds buying into this one.
Well, yes, in fact, yesterday seeing a fall of over 10%. Today the stock's gaining by 7.2% after True North Fund sold close to about 7.4% stake in Aster DM for an approximate value of 120 rupees per share to multiple buyers. And the list of buyers include Fidelity Management, HDFC Mutual Fund, Steinberg India Emerging Opportunities Fund, Ontario Pension Fund, and Tata AIA Life Insurance Company. In fact, we're seeing some amount of movement coming in the stock, gaining close to about 3%.
And 3% higher for Aster DM Healthcare today in trade. Well, just a quick detour from Market Fatafat. Here's a big ET now exclusive. The Sebi board is all set to meet in Mumbai today. In fact, I think the meeting has already started. And in all likelihood, the discussion must be on with respect to the mutual fund exposure to debt, pledged shares and promoter guarantees. Given the backdrop, Sebi may just crack down on pledged shares and encumbrances. Nayantara Rai joins us with that exclusive. Nayantara.
We at ET Now have been right on top of the agenda for the Sebi board as it meets today in Mumbai. The big one for the markets is, will the market regulator finally crack down on pledged shares and the misuse of pledged shares? We are being told by our sources that on top of the agenda is to attack this issue, one that has become a burning one since INFS, DHFL, the Jet Airways saga, or even the SL promoters saga. In fact, the market regulator is likely to take up this entire issue of how the mutual funds have a large exposure to debt, promoter guarantees, pledged shares, and a whole kind of complex structures, innovative structures that have come up in the recent past. Wanting to crack down on that to protect retail shareholders and, of course, all market participants. I'm being told by my sources, expect a new definition for encumbrance, a new definition which will cover pledged shares. And the market regulator doesn't want to just cover the complex, innovative, hybrid structures that have come up recently by the lenders, the mutual funds and the promoters. It wants to ensure it protects the market from any future jugaad that you might see. So it'll be a loosely worded definition, so loose that it'll say by whatever name it is that impacts the marketability and the freedom of the title of shares of promoters. That's how loose the definition of encumbrance is likely to be. Disclosures will also be made more explicit. I'm being told by my sources that if there is more than a 20% encumbrance of the total share capital, the promoters will have to disclose that to the stock exchanges. It doesn't just stop at that. The disclosure will have to come within 7 days of reaching that 20% cutoff mark. And then the promoters will also have to explain why such a large encumbrance. They will have to give out all of those reasons. This disclosure is not going to be only prospective in nature. It will be retrospective too, with a one-time disclosure that will have to be made by existing cases of pledged shares, encumbrances crossing 20%. Nearly 14 fields that will have to be filled out by the promoters. Sebi finally cracking down.
Thanks, Nayantara, for that. Well, yes, this evening is when we will be getting in what was discussed by Sebi in the board meeting. And Modi 2.0's budget is slated to come out just 1 week from now, and investors are keenly awaiting commentary from the new Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Jobs, banks, stress in the agri sector are definitely tasks cut out for her. And we at ET Now will get you a complete analysis of the budget for the new India. Stay tuned for our intensive budget coverage. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat, where we are wrapping up the big movers and shakers today in trade. Well, let's continue with the countdown then. And IndusInd Bank is in focus. Deutsche Bank has maintained a buy on this one with a target at 1,900 rupees, as they believe that merger with Bharat Financial is going to play out. The fears on NPLs are misplaced, and they do expect the bank to deliver a decent ROA of 2% and an ROE of 20% by FY21. Additionally, the stock is also pretty attractive at just a little over 2 times the FY21 price to book. So not bad. And of course, do remember IndusInd Bank yesterday was an underperformer compared to the rest of the private sector banks. So today there's a bout of buying coming by in the stock as well. So that's too important to consider. Kunal Rambhia, let's talk about ITC. You know, after seeing that run up, for the last few days, the stock has mostly shown a bit of consolidation, today included. Your view here?
Positional chart of ITC. In September 2018, the stock made bottom of 270, and right from that level, whenever it reaches near to 270 mark, there is a spurt of around 30-40 points. Right now, it's placed near to the support mark itself. It's not a trending trade, so keeping the risk-reward ratio in mind, going long here itself is advisable. Keep the stop loss of 270, and the range target of 300 to 310 seems likely.
76 for now on ITC. Samya, what's the news on Orchid Pharma and what's the stock reaction?
Well, the stock is definitely surging in trade today after NCLT has approved the resolution plan by Dhanuka Labs, which includes 1,116 crore of plan to buy out the debt-ridden Orchid Pharma. In fact, the stock has been locked in the upper circuit today and is gaining close to about 4.2% right now.
Okay, that's Orchid Pharma for you. By the way, it's a penny stock now. Kunal, Petronet LNG, what is it that you're observing here? Why is it a buy?
Just about a week or two back, the stock was trading at swing lows. It was threatening to go below its key moving averages, and that's sort of an indicator that the trend had weakened for the stock. But look at the last 1 week of price performance, a complete change of the stock price. It's recovered almost like a V shape. It's now nearing breakout of the swing highs as well. So I believe that could be a sign of a strong turnaround for the stock price if it manages to hold on to those short-term key support levels of 240, 242. I believe Petronet could climb up higher from current levels. So 255 to 270 would be a target range for the stock price in the near term.
Okay, that is Petronet LNG for you. Meantime, take a look at BHEL. Remember, yesterday we had, of course, the news that they partially could not pay off some of the commercial papers that were due, but they did say they'll do it in the next 2 days. And now, with DHFL really trying to sort of garner funds, they have decided to exit their mutual fund business. Remember, it was with Pram America that they had a couple of mutual funds. They have received the Sebi approval now to exit that MF business, and consequently it has divested stake in DHFL Pramerica and Pramerica Trustees. So yes, getting closer to its goal of essentially garnering funds, DHFL is gaining 2.6%. Okay, Kunal, Rambhia, Cipla and a lot of Cipla among the other pharma stocks is managing to continue that uptick today as well in trade. What is your recommendation?
Again, the Cipla has definitely managed to go up and making higher top, higher bottom formations on the daily and the weekly chart also, but it's not a clear uptrend. So yes, one can think of playing on the positive side of it, keep the stop loss of around 540 and expect the counter to reach near to 600 mark, but certainly exit near 600.
Okay, 0.3% higher, and Kunal Rambhia has a buy here. Soumya, what's the news on Suntech Realty? Why is this one up in trade?
Economic Times reports suggest that the company is planning to pump in 5,000 crore in order to boost commercial portfolio over the next 3-4 years. In fact, this move by the company is saying that they'll be building portfolio with an aim to list its real estate investment trust, and as a result, we're seeing the stock react and gain by over 2%.
Okay, that is the word coming in then on a Sunteck Realty. Kunal Bothra, Grasim is a buy for you. Why is that?
Mubina, I was looking at the charts over the last 3 months, 4 months. It's forming a bullish flag pattern. There are some weekly breakouts in terms of moving averages. On the daily charts, in technical terms, we call it as a golden crossover, where the 50 DMA crosses the 200 moving average. Even that has been achieved for the stock price, and it's gaining some steady momentum. So I believe Grasim could be a very good buy at current levels. 980 plus could be an immediate target, and stop us at 900.
Okay, clear-cut buy on Grasim, then target 980 rupees. Well, on that note, we will have to wrap it up. Kunal, Rambia, thank you for joining in and sharing your technical strategies. Kunal and Soumya, to you as well. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.